Today, we're going to take a look at the Travel Adventure Show, an open to the public travel show that helps attendees directly connect with company representatives in the hospitality, travel, and tourism industry, from off the coast of California for the Los Angeles show to the safaris of Africa. They can give you ideas to your next in-state weekend trip or to next vacation abroad. They have well-known speakers from the hospitality, travel, and tourism industry, such as Rick Steves from his PBS TV series and tours, Sarah DeShandy of Ask Concierge, CBS travel reporter Peter Greenberg, Pauline of the Fromer Travel Guides, and more for inspiration and experiences for your next vacation. So today we're going to talk about my Los Angeles leg that went on back on the 18th and at the Los Angeles Convention Center, located next to Crypto.com Arena in the LA Live Complex. I've been there a lot as an attendee already the last few years, as in person and online. Now with Untold Travel being a fully fledged blog and YouTube channel, I decided to apply for a media person for the show. So today, I'll share what it's like to be a media person for the Travel Adventure Show, what expectations set, and advice for the show staff. I'm Ansel of Ansel Travel. Let's get started. Back on January 20th, 2023, I submitted my media registration. However, the staff didn't respond back until 10 days before the show. To get media credentials, granted, you have the history of covering travel stories, and you get free admission to the show for 2 people to help you cover the show. So you can interview exhibitors and speakers a lot more openly than, just me, an attendee, and awkwardly just pointing a phone at them and be like, hey man, we're going to do an interview. It's like, why? So if they have time for some of the speakers, then you can do that there as well, since you do it like after their talk. So which I did for pretty much all the ones I was able to get. But for exhibitors, not so much, with someone with only like 200 subscribers and also keep barking up the wrong tree because I keep asking like California exhibitors who I want to do more, but of course, well, they're not really prepared for anything like that or really want to, or just too small, which actually happened. So pretty much as like I got my whole new rig, I got is GoPro. Yeah, like GoPros to help with everything was set up for the show to help film, and also on a tripod as well. And I was ready to go, and pretty much stayed there overnight as well, which I'll talk about the hotel with me staying at the Sheraton Grand Los Angeles in the next episode. But first, I drove there from where I currently reside in Anaheim, and it's like about 30 miles from there. I parked at the hotel since it was like 8 o'clock and they were sold out last night, and then just walked to the convention center about a mile away from there. So now I'm going to go to the Travel and Adventure Show, which when I got there is as a center part of the overall LA Live Complex that's owned by Schwaz Entertainment Group, or AEG for short, which owns LA whole complex comprising of Crypto Arena, the Convention Center, the Microsoft Theater, JW Marriott Ritz-Carlton Hotel, and several other buildings in the complex that's rented out, including like the Grammy Museum, ESPN Radio LA, several restaurants, and more. And that's taking place at the Los Angeles Convention Center. It was over 720,000 square feet of event space, where 3 events were happening at that weekend, including the Travel Adventure Show, the LA Art Show, and Society of Brain Mapping and Therapeutics Annual Congress. So the show was in halls G and H, over 173,000 square feet of space for exhibitors and speakers stages. And according to the website, so now you can go inside and see how it is for the show. When I got there like about 9:15 a.m., about 15 minutes before the doors opened for the media, then we'll open to the general public at 10 a.m., I was a bit confused of where registration was. The email stated was 302 in Hall G, and asked some people at the registration for attendees, and everyone was a bit confused to where exactly that was. But then eventually, like one of the other people found helped point me in the right direction, thankfully. And then there, when I got my registration, I asked them, who can I ask to do an interview for exhibitors and for all the speakers. Speakers, pretty much mostly just ask them like after they do the talk, and since their schedule is all over the place. But well, they're still not sure how exactly to redo everything for all the exhibitors. There were ones that for like the travel agents, and that said like, oh, that we do for like that speak for all the travel agents. Probably there would have been better ones, but I didn't think of it at the time, so I wasn't sure. I didn't know about that, which they told me that, but they didn't, because it's like one of my friends that I met at the Travel Adventure Show, which was Travel Trends TV, they did a lot more exhibitors, but a lot of them are more abroad or much bigger than cities in one in California, who are like much more suited to do interviews. So, oh well, I just know how to do that next time for there. So I'll keep in mind next time. But I wish they would really have that information in there, that people who are like much more for the travel advisors signs are like a lot more apt to do so. So, oh well, now I'll know for next year, and also if you're going to go to the other shows for the travel adventure show, then now you know too. And then pretty much all the other ones for California, they said no, either because either A is too small, which I'm at right now at 200 subscribers on YouTube, which is very small, and I'm like still like a fifth of the way of just eating monetization, so whatever. And then also the ones that were not even prepared for interviews, so yeah, so they're a big no anyways. So but I said, okay, well, thank you. So especially towards over 140 of them, it was very hard to really just scope out with every single one who is really wants to talk to do so. And I'm not really want to do so, but one thing I'm more there is for the speakers than just the exhibitors anyway, and I want to just film things and talk about it like I'm doing right now. But it's like, try to do things there, but it just didn't work out for me really. I'll show you why in a moment. But yeah. So when I was on the show floor about 10 o'clock, all the attendees came rushing in, and pretty much no one was really able to give me interviews who people were asking since more California. So, but then at like 10:15, the first speaker, Rick Steves, who is known for his travel guides, TV series, and tours across Europe, was first talk of the day. He was talk about the European travel skills and about traveling Europe this day and age in 2023. So there, he pretty much says like, pretty much now there's like a lot of people in a crowded convention hall. As long you're fine there, then you can go pretty much anywhere. Just for like when you're in more confined spaces such as like planes and trains, there's a lot more recycled air, then yeah, you can do so. Doing like where what you need to feel comfortable to do so, which is yeah. But most people said they got sick because like we're in more enclosed spaces such as pubs, because well, you're in enclosed space, people are a lot more social to each other and more closer to their face, so that makes a lot more sense to do so. And especially a lot of places are still installing reservation systems, so they won't be overwhelmed. So that works there if you do want to plan to go somewhere. Make sure to double check for any itinerary places to really do so. Check and see if they do have like reservations. So here in California, a lot of places still, some museums do, but you just gotta double check where. And then after Rick Steves' talk, went to another stage, which is the Savvy Traveler stage, where Sarah DeShandy, a former hotel concierge, who over time started her own concierge consulting and tips for travelers company called Ask Concierge, start spurring from her social media posts. She also did a book recently called Hospitality from Within, about how hotel services can be, hotel guest services can deliver thoughtful and genuine service, which is good for me because I do work in hotels, so I read it and it did really help for me there. So great job, Sarah. And then so from there, she gave tips about traveling and staying at hotels, such as tipping for guest services and concierge, which you do. And then from there, she also said that for applying for activities, make sure you do about 3 per day, so don't burn yourself out. Since also keep in mind travel time there, especially here in Southern California, it's like, oh yeah, we were staying here in Anaheim and let's go all the way to Santa Monica, and then we go to all the museums and stuff in Los Angeles. Is like, keep your expectations. It's like, don't expect to go everywhere, especially here in Southern California. Car is king and freeways suck. So keep that in mind when you're here in Southern California, because car is king here and traffic is always terrible. So always check Google Maps for your itinerary and see how long it is to get there, because you never know if there's a lot of congestion or traffic or an accident. And then afterwards, I was able to talk to Sarah Sandy for an interview. So after waiting for her to talk to all the clamoring attendees, answer her questions, So and then she could answer mine. My interview consisted of education about going for hospitality and tourism management, and then also for like what kind of experiences needed, and then going to management, and as well as her, especially as her farewell, learning more about how she was about concierge, especially in a lot more demanding environment in Beverly Hills, because Beverly Hills they expect to be fully on hand and toe because such rich area, and they're there for like a shopping on Rodeo Drive and whatnot. But for us here in Anaheim, where I currently work and reside, everyone's just here for Disneyland conventions. No one has that much expectations. Yeah, but there's a lot more high-end hotels there. But not as like the level of expectations as it is in, well, Beverly Hills. So, however, when I checked the footage afterwards, the microphone did not record anything. I had like an external like modification to connect to auxiliary on my GoPro and the wireless microphone, but apparently it was not working and was not connected. So I just don't know what happened there, but it's one thing that I wish that would work. So I did not use that afterwards because I don't know if it really would work anymore, and I am planning to return it. And just to get a regular shotgun mic and just put it on top of the GoPro. But oh well. Oh well. So and then after the interview, it was 1 o'clock, so I decided to get lunch, which the commissioner's cafeteria had good, but not worth writing about stuff. But I'll tell you about how it was there anyway. So there they had pre-made sandwiches, pastries, bananas for $3, pre-cut fruit, which I'm sure like $7 or anything. Bottled sodas, as a soda fountain was not on and covered for some reason, and then hot coffee station. Yeah, you can even add ice to it because the ice machine, because the soda fountain's not going. So, oh well. And then for the food, they had is $14 hamburgers and veggie burgers, $8 for hot dogs. And also one thing that I really liked that I got was the $16 for a salad with a protein, which you can get is chicken, beef, or salmon. And actually the salmon was pretty good size, especially considering that there wasn't any other like premium price for salmon, so which is really good. So it was actually pretty good too. And also had coffee, which since they didn't have any specialty coffees, they just had hot medium coffee, which is fine with me. But I couldn't make it iced because soda fountain was switched off. So then after lunch, I decided to go to watch Peter Greenberg. So he's the CBS travel editor for CBS News, along with his PBS travel series, Travel Detective with Peter Greenberg and the Royal Tour, and along with his own 3-hour weekly radio show called the Eye on Travel Radio Show, which is on CBS News Radio. Unlike the last two who worked in hospitality and tourism industry, Peter is a journalist who looks from the outside the industry looking in, as he's a journalist with a passion for travel, and his medium attracts a more older crowd, mostly because not a lot of people just watch straight CBS News or want to listen to a 3-hour long radio show, unless you're in the younger generation who listens to that kind of longer format as more of a podcast. So then while I was recording Mr. Greenberg's talk, a woman behind me asked me if I was recording the whole thing. I replied to filming some of the clips from my YouTube channel, then said that, well, since she was a YouTuber, she was also one as well, and she was Aliana Zigliano. She's a social media influencer / travel agent who specializes in cruise ships. She asked me if she was able to film her talk later that day. I said sure. So I want to help out and help boost see how well I can do from my camera skills. So it's might as well. So I accepted that for there. So then after Peter Greenberg's talk, went to his meet and greet table and asked him for a quick interview. After a long line of adoring attendees, he said sure. And then when it's done with the attendees, and then went in front of me, he talked to the first media group that was in front of me, which was Tabby Travel Trends TV, a father-son duo who started their YouTube channel from San Pedro, about 22 miles from the convention center. And then, so from there, they did a quick interview for there. So it was pretty, so I kind of accidentally recorded them since half the time. I can't even tell that my GoPro was recording or not, but hey, I did kind of record them. So, hey guys. So, yeah. So, and especially they have their one as well, so you can link it as well. So if you want to check out check out Travel Trends TV's view from there. You can definitely check on there as well. So then, when I got to Peter Greenberg, I asked him about hotel fees. Okay, I'm not really sure how well it is because a lot of background sound, but I'm with Peter Greenberg, investigative travel journalist. So you are really great. So I know that one thing that I really don't like about some of the hotels nowadays is the mandatory fees, such as like the resorts and some of the other fees like that. What is your opinion on this?
Well, they're really a tax dodge, so they don't have to pay high occupancy taxes on the basic room rate. So they break it out and charge an occupancy tax, so they don't have to pay the taxes on that other than the sales tax. But what are you getting for that? Not much.
Yeah.
And is it mandatory? My argument is it's not. Everything in a hotel is negotiable. You need to do that with a human being. It's not about, basically reserving online. You have to have a conversation with somebody in the hotel to determine whether or not your kids can stay free, that they can eat free, whether they'll throw in free parking, whether or not they're going to waive the internet fee, not to mention the resort fee. And if you don't have that conversation, you can be hit as high as $60 or $70 a night for that resort fee. So, look, if they disclose it and you agree to it, then that's the story.
Yeah.
But if they don't disclose it, you can dispute it. Those are things you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Where's the bath?
Hotel fees, that's kind of like semi-mandatory. That you pretty much is like when you book a hotel room. Like at the Sheraton Grand Hotel that I stayed at during the stay here, it was, well, they have a $25 amenity fee. This fee is like very confusing, and it included a whole bunch of stuff. So I just wanted to make sure, be like, I'm doing a whole piece on that there because I just don't like it. The whole idea of these weird fees that is very hard to dispute. Especially I used to work at a resort that does have it, and it still does to this day. Which I really did not like. And then after my interview with Peter Greenberg, then dashed over to the Savvy Traveler stage to record Alana Zigliano. I got the travel status stage within a few minutes before she started her talk, and then asked her, what do you need to do for camera view angles? So what she asked me to do was to make sure to give like a kind of like a moving shot that's going kind of like rotating around the kind of like the views of like the whole like stage area along with the seating, so make sure like people look like we're sitting attentively watching her. So and it was really cool, and I got there really good shots there. So during her talk, she talked about about cruising, the costs and benefits of it, the benefits of going through a travel agency, some newest ships, and some of the cruise ship operators, as well as like some things, especially about on-ship dining, entertainment, various staterooms, RFID disc for payment, and stateroom access in the systems, kind of like similar to Disney Parks Magic Band. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then pretty much I filmed on my GoPro on a handheld gimbal, which was pretty good, except since it is indoors, it was still kind of grainy, but still very good quality. And after the talk, she thanked me for it. And then I was able to, it's really hard to get some of the footage off of there. So pretty much I had to wait until I get back home and assemble it and then upload it online. And it's really nice, and she really thanked me a lot for it. So really cool, and she got me a gift card as well. So yeah, thank you, Alana. Yeah, and then after Alana's talk, I went. Pauline Fromer was finishing her talk there. I want to get her quick interview from her as well for that blog post. Pauline Fromer is the daughter of Arthur Fromer, the founder of Fromer's Travel Guides, who wrote travel guides for the U.S. Army GIs about traveling Europe. And then Pauline is currently the editorial director of Fromer's. And then looking at the description speaker schedules, looks like she was about life-changing, not banking vacation trips. Afterwards, she had a meet and greet, and during which I asked her about the hotel fees.
So, resort fees are the bane of travelers' existence, and they're a tax dodge by the hotels. Hotels pay lower taxes often on fees than they do on nightly rates. And unfortunately, the hotel industry is so powerful in this country and has given so much money to so many different politicians that I don't think resort fees are going away anytime soon. So try and avoid hotels that charge them, because there's no reason for them.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. After my quick interview, Rick Steve started his second and last overall talk of the day. She did a premiere talk with his company's COO, Craig Davidson, about traveling in a warming world. In the first half, Rick talked about the ethical dilemma of traveling. In the second half, Craig took over, talked about a lot of how carbon does a lot of damage to the environment, and especially that for what travel and tourism creates. Especially like when you're traveling on the plane, it is one of the biggest single polluters. So pretty much from there, what they want to do is to do carbon offsets. So pretty much in the more form for like farming, since farming is like one of the more contributes for carbon emissions. So from there, they did like a $100,000 grant to 10 organizations that help farmers in third world countries to offset their carbon footprint. So farming does contribute a lot to that there. And then after that, it was 5 p.m. The Saturday part of the show ended for the day. It was great to get the media badge and can officially interview speakers and exhibitors if I'm able to get anyone to talk to me. However, it was not to feel much too different as being an attendee who just wanted to film and just wanted to get a quick conversation on video. I was able to do that last year as an attendee, but Phil Belchello, as my target exhibitors to California destinations, didn't want to be interviewed due to my small fan base or just not prepared for an interview. And I just wish there was a bit more set list of who's willing to be interviewed and you're okay being interviewed, or at least that you're okay overall being interviewed, or like when you go up to them and at least have someone there is okay to be interviewed. I wish there's a bit more comprehensive list than that, but overall it was pretty good and I really liked the experience there. So it was really good, and especially got to do some coverage on here like I'm doing right now for this video to make it finally official. So yeah. So thank you for watching, everyone. I'm Anthony Solsab with Ansel Travel, and thank you for watching.